Welcome everyone to Leaf Status Report for October 29th, 2025. I've simulated the rest of the NHL regular season 1,147 times today. So let's take a look at the results and see where the Leafs stack up now. Yesterday, every single team in the NHL played a game. The Toronto Maple Leafs won their game yesterday 4-3 against the Calgary Flames. And for those of you who watched yesterday's episode, out of the seven teams that I mentioned were going to be important to watch, other than the Leafs yesterday, three of them won their games and they scored a combined 8 points in the standings. I ran a simulation or simulations of all seven of these relevant games off camera, and I came up with an expected wins yield of 3.67 and an expected points yield of 8.13 across all seven of those games, which means that collectively they underperformed a bit. Both the fact that the Leafs won and the seven teams combined had a slight underperformance is going to yield fairly good projections for the Leafs' playoff chances. The Leafs have gained 0.7 expected points today, jumping from 94.7 expected points yesterday to 95.4 expected points today. We can break the Leafs' gain in expected points down into four main factors. Their win over the Calgary Flames yesterday, given that they were projected to score an average of 1.29 points in the standings for that game, nets them a gain of 0.71 expected points. Interestingly enough, this game against the Flames being fed into today's simulations contributed only 0.003 expected points gained, which is essentially negligible. The contribution of every other game that happened yesterday that fed into today's simulation resulted in a gain of 0.31 expected points. And there was actually a loss of 0.32 expected points due to sampling randomness over yesterday's projection. Mind you, of course, this loss of 0.32 could be because of either overestimation in yesterday's projections, underestimation in today's projections, or a combination of both, which is the most likely. The Leafs' points window has opened a bit. The floor actually does remain constant. The minimum number of points the Leafs scored in the simulated season today is still 69, as it was yesterday. However, the ceiling of the window has opened by 3 extra points. Yesterday, the maximum number of points the Leafs scored in simulation was 118, and today it's 121. That gives us an effective points range of 52. The Leafs' playoff odds today improved by 4.3% over yesterday. Yesterday, the Leafs made the playoffs in 68.8% of all simulations, and today they've made the playoffs in 73.1% of all simulations. Now that I'm finally filming an episode on my computer, I can introduce you officially to, and hopefully I'm gesturing to the right side, the table. This has been the format of my results since I started spitting out projections from my R code. I have highlighted, just for clarity, you can see all the blue teams here are relevant teams in the Atlantic Division for the Leafs playoff odds. The green teams are relevant teams from the Metropolitan Division. And of course, the yellow is the Toronto Maple Leafs. So the Leafs still sit in second in the Atlantic Division. They've also been sitting 12th in the league and 5th in their conference this whole time as well, but that hasn't particularly been relevant for their playoff odds since they've always been in one of those top 3 division spots. But they currently sit 4.3 expected points behind the Tampa Bay Lightning, 1.7 expected points ahead of the Montreal Canadiens, who are third in the Atlantic at the moment, and they currently sit at 6.5 expected points into the playoffs. Now, there's only one game going on in the NHL today. However, it is of no little consequence. The Leafs are playing at the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight at 7:30 local time, or Eastern time, which I think is also Columbus time. Anyway, Of course, the Columbus Blue Jackets sit 1.8 expected points outside of the playoffs, and they're currently, I believe, um, yeah, they're about number 5 on that list of Leafs chasers right now. They've jumped from 7th to 5th after yesterday. Needless to say, very important game, and based on 6,724 simulations of said game, I'm projecting that the Leafs have about a 54.53% chance to win. Broken down, this is a 43.38% chance of them winning in regulation, an 11.15 percent chance of them winning in overtime, a 10.88% chance of them losing in overtime, and a 34.59% chance of them losing in regulation. Overall, if you do the math, that gives them an expected points yield for this game of about 1.2. Um, in layman's terms, if they don't win this game, then we're going to see their chances drop by a not insignificant margin, especially because this is a team that is currently in active pursuit of them in the expected points rankings.